Hi everybody, and welcome to another 180 Markets Weekly Wrap. And this past week, it was a mixed bag out there and fairly confusing, but big cap earnings were certainly big, and that's what we're going to focus on today. But before we get to that, you know the drill. Like, subscribe to our channel at 180 Markets. There's so much information there, and it's all free and at your fingertips. And now, as I mentioned, big cap earnings. Well, friends, the big cap earnings came in and they were definitely huge. In fact, Apple just reported this morning about 3 or 4 hours ago, and huge cash flow machine there. And even though the earnings themselves were only in line, importantly, they announced a massive share buyback. And it highlights what a great company it is that is generating all of this cash flow, because at the end of the day, that's what a real business does. And then when we look at Alphabet also announced for the first time a dividend. That's right. And that's so important as well, because again, great company generating huge money. But what these companies certainly have in common is they are part of the Magnificent Seven and taking advantage of AI. But here's what's coming up and why it's so confusing is the valuations. What are we going to pay for these companies? And this is the investor dilemma. In fact, there was just a fantastic podcast this week with mega billionaire Ken Griffin running the largest hedge fund, or most successful hedge fund, I should say, ever at Citadel. And he spoke about this very issue. And what he suggested, which sounds reasonable, is to look for those companies that are using AI as a real advantage in their internal business, which drives efficiency and certainly then drives profits. And that is something to focus on. And here at 180 Markets, we're trying not to get too opinionated, to focus in an unbiased fashion on what is happening, because there is always something to do in markets. That's right. And something to do, speaking of that, is capital raises. And there were a huge amount of them this week. And here, back from vacation, coming early, and he's going to tell you why, is Sean, and I'll turn it over to him.
Thanks, Greg, and it's great to be back in Melbourne. Big night tonight with Carlton playing Collingwood. I'm getting a bit nervous. Anyways, I've been told only talk about the market, so here goes. While I was away, I was reflecting a bit about the journey of 180 Markets, and the most pleasing thing for us is access. We are getting access to almost all placements on the ASX now. Sure, we get scaled back a bit on some, but others, we get to bid early and we get great allocations. We are doing a lot of work on the behind the wall deals. Now, this is when we send deals out the night before, where we've got access to a placement happening the next day. Most likely, we'll be guaranteed a pretty good allocation. So if you're concerned about allocations, behind the wall deals, we get great allocations most of the times. All you need to do is accept the terms and you can view the placement. Now, please note that these deals are not sent to everyone, because we have had a few people spreading the information, and we have access putting it on chats, and that is really risky for us. So if you're not getting these deals, just send us an email and we'll give you a call and make sure that you're not going to talk about the deals, and we'll add you to the list. Also, just please make sure that your emails, that our emails are not going to junk, because we have had a few people not receiving their emails. All right, let's take a look at placements from the week. All right, the first raise I'm going to talk about this week is Westwoods WWI. This was one that I personally took through Ignite Equity, and if you want to know more about Ignite Equity, give us a call. We raised money for Westwoods at 1.3. We did raise money for them last year as well, 1.1, so it's great to see the price has been doing well, but it is a gold stock, and you would expect that. They've got a gold mine right near Johannesburg in South Africa, and just some information about me, that's where I was born. Let's look at another placement. Now, we had early access to this one, behind the wall. So hopefully some of you did rather bid the night before rather than the day of the deal, because we got a great allocation from the night before. ADX is a stock I follow pretty closely, and I have for a while. I do remember this run over here. They shot up and then shot all the way back down, but they did raise money at 10.5 cents, and that did come with a free option. I think it was an 18-cent option, but I may be wrong. They did raise a pretty large amount in the end. They ended up taking $13 million, which is a lot of money for a market cap of just 46 million. But yeah, I'm going to keenly be following ADX going forward. STM, they raised money this week as well. They kind of feel like they have become a bit of a serial raiser. Now, serial raisers you can usually see have got this sort of pattern in the chart. If we go look at the 5-year chart, they had a massive run all the way up to 10 cents in the end of the COVID days. But have fallen all the way back down. Unfortunately, they're now trading a placement price of 1.1. There was a discount at the time to the closing price of 1.4. So, yeah, hopefully now they got the money in, they'll stop doing all these repetitive raises. Another one I'm going to take a quick look at is TRI. So they raised money on, I think it was Tuesday. They raised money at 2.5. There was no discount, and the next day they got a big pump by Next Investors. Next Investors added them to their portfolio. So if we look here, this was actually yesterday. They opened around 3.6 cents, traded there, but at the close they got sold down heavily. They're back up today, 3.3, so it's still doing well after the placement, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next. All right, movers this week. Now we're going to do something a bit different. We've had a request to talk about DRO, Drone Shield. They did do a placement recently, so I've got Brad to talk about it.
Thanks, Sean. So yes, as mentioned, DRO did a placement not too long ago. They went out to raise 70 mil, all underwritten by Bells, but they ended up raising 100 mil at 80 cents. The company also did just do a $5 million SPP, which was closed very quickly. As you can see, there was some excess demand, which it actually is quite interesting that it was only done at 80 cents and it's trading now at around 81 cents. The company did make some good profit margins last quarter, and their revenues was up 10x over the year on year. So that's great to see there.
Thank you, Bradley. And if ever you guys want us to talk about a special stock, being placement or mover or just anything in particular, Brad loves looking into these different sort of companies. Send us an email or text and we'll do that. Now, Krakatoa, KTA, they had a massive move yesterday, as we can see here in the chart. Now, they did announce some update on their rare earth project. Well done to Colin and the team. Yeah, it's great to see the share price back up there. Another big mover this week, and not just this week, but the past few weeks, has been RCR. Now, I'm amazed they're up to 12 cents. This one did a few low raises around here, around 3 to 4 cents, but somehow it's at 12 cents. They've been releasing some great results from their West Arunta project. So, yeah, it's now the West Arunta project. It's just RC drilling, and they've had some great results. So, yeah, good luck to people holding that. Hopefully it'll keep going up, but not sure. It's had a massive run already. Another big mover, 5GG. They ran up earlier this week after they gave an investor update, and they also released their cash flow statements. I'm guessing, without looking, that was a lot better than investors expected. Now, downs this week. Now, this one was an up a couple of weeks ago, but unfortunately, PAA has had a big turn of events. Let's just take a look at the 5-year chart, because this one has been a big success. It was trading low 8s, and I do remember we helped out with a couple of placements recently. 8 cents and then 10 cents, and the stock hit, I think, 43 cents recently. But unfortunately, their CEO resigned. Now, they didn't really give good enough reasons for the market to believe. Everyone's got their different reasons why they do changes of things in the company. Now, I mean, we do know that Farm Australia do need eventually to raise more capital, and yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for them for this to have happened now. That's a wrap. Thanks for joining. A few movers, quite a lot of placements. Hopefully that'll continue next week.